Welcome everyone to Talking Trash's podcast, The Peace Talk, episode 2. And today we have two amazing guests with us, and I'm super excited for you all to meet them. But first, you gotta know what we're talking about. We are talking about litter, trash, and pollution in our community and how it affects us mentally. If you tuned in for the last show, you heard Alexi Irving, and we talked about how it affects us physically as far as our physical health. But a lot of times we don't talk about how it affects our mental health. So today, we're going to get into that, ladies. Yes. Go ahead, take the time now to like and subscribe so that you stay up to date on all things Talking Trash and the Peace Talks. But let's get into it. Let me introduce you to our wonderful guests for today. We have two amazing women. We have Miss Dianne Hodges. Thank you for being here with us. And GodTess Torziata. Yes. So ladies, thank you both for being here with us today. Mental health is so important to talk about in our community, and not just in the month of May for mental health awareness, but every single day. We deal with so many traumas and stressors on a day-to-day basis, but this is one that most people don't talk about as much as they should. But before we jump fully into the discussion, I would love for you all to tell the audience just a little bit about yourself. We'll start here and work over, and why this topic is important to you.
Well, I've been into holistic health approximately 45 years. And one of the things that I focused on most was when I brought essential oils into the community, I brought them in from a space of therapy. So in therapy, I was using essential oils to work with the amygdala, which is the seat of the emotions in the brain. And I began to find out that people were having issues because they were having malfunctions in their brain. So food, nutrition was very important. And then the amygdala, which is the seat of the emotions, you have oils like frankincense that will go past the blood-brain barrier. So I began to find out that mental illness was also equated to nutrition and also all the way back to the womb. So when I would do energy work with people, because I am an energy facilitator, oftentimes information that was stored in the cells starting from conception, I found out that would be engaged too. And then I began to see that mental illness and mental disease were two different aspects. So mental illness, traumas, whether the traumas were in the womb, audio, the presence of what was going on with the mother through the whole 9 months of gestation. And then you have mental disease. And mental disease is people are pregnant, iron deficiency, the baby can't get enough oxygen to the brain is oxygen deficit, child comes here, the brain is not functioning properly. Frontal lobe, where you make decisions, not functioning properly. So working in those arenas, when you see trash or you see a disquieted situation in our community, it is mostly mental, and it could be coming 2, 3, 4 generations. And that's why I started studying epigenetics above genetics, because just because this happened to your mama and your grandmama and your great-grandmama, it doesn't have to happen to you, because everything is involved in environment. And that's why I think your banner, your mission, your vision about talking trash is truly important in our community. And then I work with seniors. So I have been with AmeriCorps for 4 years. I worked in a program. We're about to start a new program for seniors where they can be trained to be community health workers.
Yes.
But also, seniors right now are in a very, very delicate position. They don't have enough money for food, housing, disparities, and then companionship. Those all create mental situations. So, I teach classes for the city of Chicago for seniors, belly dance, fitness, and meditation movement. And so all these things, you come right back to talking trash.
We're starting off with a bang. Okay, look, I'm just gonna say, wow.
You
Thank you. Right, I'm sorry.
sit back a minute. Give that a. You all meditate on all of that.
All of it, okay?
Say.
GodTess. Again, just to reiterate, tell us about yourself, and then why is this topic important to you?
Myself, I've come from a background of administration and management, working in the city of Chicago colleges, and did that for over 20 years, and found myself to be unwell after working that for over 20 years. And I went on a quest to rest. And I needed to find out what exactly was that. And so I began to take time off of work, and it eventually led me to quit the job and just traveled. My first trip was to Thailand, and they incorporate sleep in their daily routines. Yeah, everybody imagine that. Being able to take a nap while you're at work. I found that to be so beautiful. I just went to other places in the world, and most other places incorporate rest into their entire being. And why us as a society do not do that here in the States is
well, it cuts into the bottom line.
Right. It's totally against what the whole makeup of this is. And so my last trip that I took was to Ethiopia, and when I say that there are so many places in the world that have prided themselves on the appearance of the country and how beautiful it is to just be in a place that was clean. It was amazing to go there and not see trash on the street, and to have people cleaning up all the time, as a matter of fact. And so I said to myself that this is affecting us, and how can I help with this? It's led me to be in this place of energy work, which for me, that was reflexology. That's what I learned in Thailand. And I came back here to implement that. That's not something that's really in high demand here. The most people get their reflexology done. They get their pedicure and their manicure. And that, even on a small term, is not enough to combat what we're doing or what we're against day by day here in the States. So I also began to incorporate Reiki with that, and it just came forth as this great love affair for me on how I can become well, first of all, because you have to see after yourself before you can see after anybody else. And it helped me to get off of high blood pressure medicine, and I was pre-diabetic as well. And so it helped me to regulate all of that. And like Ms. Dianne mentioned earlier, my diet was a big part of that. And those things just led me into this whole practice of how do I begin to incorporate this whole wellness for myself and this state of being for others that I know. And it is energy work. It is us coming back to ourselves in ancient ways. That's what I don't want to say. Ancient practices are coming back to us, through us.
I love that. Okay, y'all thought I was playing when I said we were with amazing ladies today. Ooh, y'all giving me chills. I love it. Thank you both for doing the work that you do. It's absolutely important and absolutely amazing and necessary. in our community. So thank you. Both of you are energy workers and healers in different ways as well, which is going to be important for this conversation because we're talking about mental health, and healing is absolutely necessary. But my first question to you all, or my next question to you all, is why do you think we are in the place that we are in as far as the litter and the trash in our communities in relations to mental health?
I think, as the sister said, we have to get back to ancient ways. So as a people, we're attracted to what other people are doing, and we have left a lot of our ancient ways and cultures. We've left them behind. So I mean, I come from a background of mental abuse and a family that was very torn apart. I had a grandmother who was raped in the cotton fields, and she didn't get over it. Some people can get over things, some people cannot. So then you end up with families that are going through extreme mental traumas on a daily basis, from verbal abuse to sexual abuse, mental abuse, all those things. When we don't heal ourselves, then we can't heal others. And like the sister said, she traveled and she spent time healing herself. Why are we the way we are? Because we haven't taken time to heal ourselves. We don't love ourselves. If I don't love me, I can't love you.
Yeah.
And if I don't love me, sometimes that filters out into what's going on around you. Usually people who are mentally disturbed, emotionally, they have no connection to being around trash. But I'm going to tell you something. We've been going through this for generations.
Yes, right.
Because I've seen pictures of the Renaissance and Harlem and the Renaissance, and you'll see black people sitting on the stoops and the steps and trash all around them. I just watched some sisters on YouTube, African dancing over in Africa, and it was Coke bottles and trash in front of them. And nobody moved the trash, and as they danced forward, when they got to that trash, they just kicked it to the side. Tell me, why is that happening? What is it that we don't care enough about ourselves, that we are comfortable living around filth? What do you think?
I agree. Same thing here, because there are some other countries that I visited, such as Ghana, and it wasn't as clean as I anticipated it to be. It was very filthy, water as well. They encourage us not to bathe in the water, let alone drink it. So it was just sad to me that here I was, thought I was going home, and I was going to get this just beautiful awakening of the colors and the smells, and to go there and see trash on the ground in such a beautiful place. It was just heart-wrenching for me to know that, hey, it's going on in other parts of the world. Here I am thinking I'm escaping from something, and I went over there and trash on the ground. So it definitely has did us an injustice to not be connected to the land that we come from. And I mean all of us. I don't mean just by, if you were born in a certain state. I mean we all came from Earth. So to see this happening all over the world in certain spaces. The cleanest place that I've been to has been Singapore. And when I tell you, they don't even allow you to bring plastic into the country. Something as small as that. And you will be fined if you litter. That was like, wow. This whole awakening came from how a people chose to govern themselves. And they're a very small country. They're not large at all. But these people have decided that this is how they want this place to be and stay. So it just really, made such a big difference to me in regards to what the mindset was and what it is. And if we're saying that we're connected to this earth, we are earthlings, we are humans. Why don't we take care in that manner because we are connected. Just as every tree is connected to other trees around the world. So I just think we've been experiencing this disconnect for a long time, and that's, for me, that's been the major space.
I think it's passed down, like you said earlier, through our DNA and our genetics, absolutely, with the trauma, but passed down as far as information told to our children, actually what we're installing into them or what's not being taught to them. You mentioned the disconnect from the planet. We're not teaching our young people, and we weren't taught for the most part, to connect to this planet.
Yes.
And we mentioned the Healing Academy before, and how we're working to heal those children and teach them about, and I know that's something that you do as well, so I'm sliding over to you in a second, teaching these babies about the planet, teaching them about nature, getting them in nature, and how that literally can shift the mindset, because we aren't taught to be connected to this planet. We're taught to take from it,
Yes.
and it's okay to throw that bottle on the ground and all of that, but to really teach our young people and then our adults, and to retrain ourselves to say, okay, we are from this planet gives us everything we need, grounding and all the other amazing things that we can do to connect to this planet. And I know that you work with the babies in your garden over at South Merrill Garden.
I create spaces for them. I don't work with them.
Okay. She's like, let's get that right together. Thank you for creating the space. That's necessary.
Yeah. So, cellular memory, and, Dr. Bruce Lipton, biology of belief, he worked with stem cell research for 25 years before it was popular, and he was one of the pioneers that began to bring forth the information that it was not the genome project, it wasn't the genes, it's the cells. And he said, one of his mentors said, if you want to change an environment, if you want to change a cell, change the environment of the cell. So let's just look at energy. As a cellular being, there's a few things that goes on in my cells all the time, because they have receptor sites, so they take in information and they give out information. So let's just say I go to a party and everything is up-tempo and everybody's having a good time, and then I remember I have to go to a funeral, awake, and I leave that party and I go to that funeral. Well, the energy there is going to be different. So immediately I'm going to go into a different thought process. Every cell in my body is going to take on more of a sober effect. Well, this is what happens to your cells every day. So your cells are taking in information and giving out information. And as the guy who did all the research on water, your body is over 70% water. It's taking in information and it's giving out information. So we're basically energy beings. For the past, 6 or 7 years, I have been pleading with the CPS people and the nonprofit people in our community to begin to work with the babies. That we would like to see more programs for the children in kindergarten, preschool, first grade, second grade, because your programming is set by the time you're 6 years old. It's like a hard drive. So when you see these nonprofits that they say, oh, well, our data says we need to work 14 to 26. Well, everything is already set. And it's a harder drive to do. And is it that you don't want people to really get healed? So you work with these people because there's money in it. You can have a great executive salary. You're going to have a turnover and a constant revolving door, because everybody knows that has done any research knows that that's already put in place. But those babies who maybe, because listen, 8 hours they're at school, or 6 hours or whatever. So they're still spending more time out of their household than in their household. So when people say, yeah, but they have to go home. Well, if that child, which children are coming here today, extremely brilliant, and on their mission, they're just wanting somebody to help them get there. So from a cellular perspective, we have to create spaces for the children. And if you begin to teach them early, they will adhere to that. But when they have a mother that's saying, throw that on the ground, slapping your hand because you tried to get over to the garbage can, there's something seriously wrong with that. And I don't know if we can repair all of it, but if we can repair some of it, that would be good. When you talk about children receiving information, my mother died when I was 8, but she used to tell me, don't step on people's grass. That's still in my head. Right now, I don't want to step on anybody's grass because that's what she told me.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It has been this, just great death that's been taking place. If we could say it like that, that's just this great death that's been taking place. And for me, we didn't accept that as exactly what it has been. And we need to grieve that. We need to grieve it. Here's where I got that connection from. I also traveled to Rwanda, another country that's extremely clean. No plastic is allowed in the country. They had a great genocide. They grieved that genocide by keeping their streets clean. Now, one of the most cleanest countries in Africa today. So here's where we do our energy work. We have to embrace that shadow side of what has happened as well and be able to clean it up from there. See, we have so much sadness and heartbreak going on that's that display of the sadness and the heartbreak. Yeah, you're not going to tell me, Miss Dianne, to throw this pamper in front of your house. I don't care. I'm so heartbroken. I got these babies and I ain't got the daddy ain't at home with them. And, it goes to those depths. And we have not came together and held our hearts for each mom and each dad and each grandmom that had to raise the kids and all of that. That's what we're seeing on the street in the volume of trash, the heartbreak, and how we haven't grieved the loss of so many and so much. We've lost so much here. And it's also a part of, who we are. And like Miss Dianne said, our grandchildren, my granddaughter is here with me today. So I am very cognizant of how I talk to her and how I'm with her, because I'm giving her all of me now. When I'm an ancestor, and I say that, when your grandchildren begin to come, you're really in this ascended state. You really are moving on. They're giving you the signal, okay, we're here. Your legacy is secured. Now what are you going to pour into them and leave them with? So I've always told her, my energy will pass down to you and pass, into you. And so that, for me, has been just like the main work, just getting people to really embrace the concept of dying daily, because it is divine. And when we grab that as a practice, we're practicing this every day. We're dying to ourselves. Yes, it's easy to throw that can out of the car window and keep it moving. However, if I'm dying to myself and I say I want my neighborhood to look like this, then there's a whole turnaround in regard to what the planet gives back. Because it gives so much to us. And especially talking trash is we want to grow from this space. We want to be able to, our gardens and everything that we do, we add back to. We want to get that out of the earth. And so how do we do that when we haven't addressed everything in totality?
Absolutely. I think you both made amazing points when you're talking about, and the energy, talking about our cells and how they adjust because they're receiving and taking in. It was a calm that kind of came over my body as you both were speaking. because there is such sadness.
Yes.
Such sadness in our community, and we don't love ourselves. And if we don't love ourselves, we don't love our community, we don't love anyone who looks like us, and we throw this trash on the ground, and we have all of this trauma, whether it be from family lineage, a trauma you've experienced personally in your life, vicarious trauma, because everything's on social media and the TV now, the news is running 24/7 with these stories, and so we're receiving all of this pain and all of this hurt. And then on top of that, the way society is set up in Western cultures, you got to work darn near 24 hours a day, 3 jobs just to keep the lights on and feed your children if you have children. So do you have time for it? You don't have time for self-care. You don't have time for rest. You don't have time for healing, right? You're not thinking about it, and you're angry about that.
Exactly.
I'm mad I got to pay bills. I'm not going to hold you. I am upset about it. I am. This plan gives us everything we need, and then they make us pay for it, right? I'm upset about that. And I know a lot of other people are too, and it's hard.
Yeah.
And life gets hard. And so on an average person walking down the street, you're dealing with all of this added stress and trauma and anger, and we are not caring. And that's the sad part about our communities and the legacy that we're leaving with our babies, right?
Yes.
That future generation. So now that leads me to what do we do? Because that's absolutely the problem.
Well, first of all, we have to stop feeling sorry for ourselves, and we have to stop blaming other people, because this is not a planet of utopia.
Mm-hmm.
This is a planet of experiences. And what a lot of people don't think to do is ask, why am I here?
Mm.
You can begin to attract different situations just by saying, why am I here? Because then you can begin to move in the direction of what you came to do. If you don't think you came here to do anything, you end up being in haphazard construction. Because I've taken thousands of dollars of classes. And a lot of the classes that I've taken and certifications that I have, Melchizedek and different energy fields, people on that corner, not only do they not know about it, but if they knew about it, they wouldn't feel that they should spend money on it.
Mm-hmm.
So people like us, we really have to come into the community and just give of our energy
Absolutely.
to people that don't even understand what they require. Because we're at a point now where you're not going to be able to lay hands on everybody. So I have to do my work where I become a vibrating being, that when I walk down a block, my energy precedes me, my energy is all around me, and when people, even the lowest of the lowest, see me, they don't see me, they see unconditional love.
Mm. Beautiful.
And it's that love that's going to possibly, I walk down these streets, I've seen little hood, they have on their little masks and stuff. I know they be up to getting ready to do something, maybe to me, but they can't do it because I'm looking at them going, hey, handsome, how you doing today? I gave them love.
Yes.
They might go hit somebody else in the head that not only is already afraid, but doesn't like them. You see, I had to learn how, I used to say, I just can't stand this, all this trash, they just need to move. Where are they going?
Right.
Where are they going? And then we used to say, well, I'm just going to move here. But now where are you going to move?
Right.
Because it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, yeah.
Unless you are really in the money. And then if you're really, really, really in the money, you still get your own stuff you have to deal with. It's nothing on this planet that is not going to put you in a position where you have to deal with experiences and you have to grow. Either you grow or, you can come back again and try it
Same
again.
journey.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
What you want to do. But in talking about trash, what you people do, I feel is just magnificent, because you take young people, even older people, and you just make them accountable, and you put them in a group. See, group settings are good because what? I'll give you a good example. When you watch those Venezuelans coming over here, I watched a train. It had so many Venezuelans on it, and then they were saying that they had figured out how to operate the train, and they were on their way here. What you see is energy. That is a collective consciousness that says, I don't care, I'm going to the U.S. And we're thinking this collectively, and you say, well, how did they get this? How did they get that? Because there's been a collective consciousness for one specific thing. I'm going here, they're going to take care of me, I'm going to get a job, my children are going to be bilingual, they're going to get educated. We're going to take over. That's the consciousness. What's our consciousness? What has it been? I got mine, you get yours. You got elected officials, you put them in there. They don't do nothing for you, but you keep on getting them in there. Now here you are. Oh, the homeless. Oh, this, that. They were always there. You wasn't trying to help them then, but now all of a sudden you want to help them. But let me tell you something. Every man for himself right now. You better learn how to evolve.
Yes.
You better learn how to love unconditionally, and you better get this hate out of your heart so that whatever little bit is left, you can negotiate, because this is not about either or, it's and.
Yes.
But if you don't know how to negotiate, you're going to end up with nothing, because you're too busy hating. How are you going to hate some people that collectively decided to come over here and take over? Because that's what they're doing.
This hot fire.
Woo!
Yes. I'm in.
Man, you said
I'm in
so
this place
many
of love.
things.
Yes. With what all that she said.
So many things.
And I agree. And yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
One, it's the love. It's that energy and that collective consciousness. And I think that's something people really don't think about. We can manifest. We can create. We can shift, and we can change. We could move mountains. And I love that you mentioned that when I'm like, okay, what's the solution? And you're like, okay, I got you. Changing our minds and really focusing in on healing, rest, going within, shifting our energy, moving in love, and then giving that freely to everyone and anyone. I said, ooh, I just want to give love. I think on the first episode I was saying, it could all be so simple.
And it's not that easy either, because some people are not lovable. It's easy to love people. It's easy to love people that are lovable. But the transformation takes place. Like, I can walk down the street and people will roll down their car window and go like, hey, Miss Dianne, because I have exemplified love when they were not. When they were trashing, when they were doing whatever, I was still loving them. So now I'm attempting to help some of them get into re-entry. You know why? Because as I move through this activation of being out here as an activist and helping, I'm realizing that the people that are in places that are supposed to help people, they're not really trying to do that. And I feel like if I can just help a few of them to get back into society and be accountable and feel good about themselves and get retrained or whatever, they can duplicate themselves.
Absolutely.
And that's the
See,
key.
it's the small groups that get things done. Remember, the Christ was not in the temple. He was out there with the people. And you have these huge churches, and these churches, the more the merrier, the more money we have to do things. But then everybody got their stuff, so people got their cliques. People who are in dire need, they can't handle those cliques. They already have low self-esteem. not to count the low self-esteem that's in the church. That's why you in the church, because you felt like you couldn't get no credit out on the street. So you come in the church and become a deacon or whatever, and then now you want to be over somebody there. See, we have to stop that.
Yeah.
I don't know. We may not ever stop it, but back to talking trash.
But that's mental as well.
But back to talking trash. Your mission is so much broader than what you think it is, because just dealing with that trash gives you an opportunity to interact with people that you would have never interacted with.
And that's what I loved when we did our, shout out to our sponsor, Habitat for Humanity Chicago, when they funded our project for Earth Day, and it carried on for months. And we were in the community, and you were there, and Miss June, and we were there, and Mama Tess, you were there as well. And we were doing the turnarounds, and the community would just drive by and say, thank you so much. Thank you. And we're out there every Sunday, and different people, and people from the community that would just happen to be walking past joined us and came back the next week. And we got a little talking trash family for the Greater Grand Crossing area, because they saw us, and they stopped their cars and was like, you need help, and just started helping. And that energy, it shifts the room. That's that love, and you just radiating that love from the middle of that turnabout, and people feel it. They saw it, they come over, they ride their bikes by, they say thank you, and then they join you.
And those you've created, because they're circular, so you have created energy vortexes.
That's right.
So the more you work in those areas, the stronger the energy becomes.
And recreating life is always spiral. So when we're talking energy, you're always talking spiral. You're always talking what's going to go around and come right back around. Go around. Everybody has a fingerprint. If you look at that fingerprint, it's the circle of life. And so I love that most of those vortexes that were open up, we were cleaning up, Miss June, we were cleaning up the little circle patches that had bricks and all of these things. And then we're going to recreate those spaces and make gardens, small gardens, by putting plants and generating the dirt and all of that, giving it back its life. Things have been in this place of stripped. We've been on a long winter here, and it's time, not time, because time is out. Time is out. There is no time. We have spiraled back to what we know to do. And now we're beyond holding it within us four and no more, or our particular spaces. Because Miss June could have did this in her backyard and just say, oh well.
Miss June's not going to do that.
That's right. And that is what has, broken this whole mold of we cannot do it. The very example that has been set by talking trash and being out there and letting people see the example of what it is. That's greater than any word of mouth, anything being on the media, anything. Because now people just want to be touched by what you do. They really want to know that is this for real? Oh my God, these people, who's paying them? No one is paying them.
People walk up like, who
right.
What you doing?
Who you with? I'm with talking trash.
We out here.
Oh, okay. Well, what is that? What was that? I experienced a young brother just coming. He was just walking by, and he had a bag of chips in his hand, as a matter of fact, and he said, "Y'all out here cleaning up?" Now, if you all were not out there cleaning up, he probably would have been like. But he came and asked and really got involved. Like, I want to do this. This is great. I said, oh yeah, this is it. This is the whole Christ consciousness right here. Because it's throwing that net out there and catching those who want to be encompassed in this field of energy, and this love energy.
I think we have to say to ourselves, like Miss June, if Miss June wasn't in her community, where would that community be? If I wasn't on this block, where would this block be? So if we all go someplace where we don't have to deal with anything, who's going to be here? Or should I just ask myself, did I come here to do this? I mean, we have experiences that allow us to grow, so now we have information. Our energy fields extend about 60 feet So your energy is always merging with other people's energy. So it's your responsibility to keep your vibration and frequency at a very high level. Or else you couldn't be out here doing this work. Now, some people may not understand it as energy, but the fact that they love people and they love their community, that is a high vibration and frequency in itself.
And then when working with those vibrations and those frequency, it raises your vibration and your frequency. It really, somebody can really love the hell out of you. Seriously. Like just by being around a different set of people, they can really make you, go home and be in a space of, wow, we accomplished something just by picking up in this one little square. I wonder what we can do if we took this on the block, and then we took it on 2 blocks, and then we took it on 5 blocks. So that's the collective consciousness right now. And I, for one, am joyful that this whole idea of somebody else doing it is dead.
Come on.
So
It's up to us. And I think when it comes to...
And then you have to remember people, excuse me,
Oh, no, you're good.
you have entities out here that create situations for our communities. And we have to understand that when you drop people in a community and the monies that was supposed to come with them does not come, and they're used to living a certain way, I always say whoever's energy is the strongest is the one that's going to prevail. So they come into your community and their plan is, well, I was doing it over there, I'm going to do it over here. So when you want to change that, there's a resistance. It's like, no, baby, we don't do that over here. I mean, South Shore.
We don't do that here.
South Shore, people came in, putting their sofas on the sidewalk, having a barbecue grill on the sidewalk, gonna play cards on the sidewalk. We're calling the alderman's office like, hey, don't know. It's just like a gentleman used to bring his dog out and come over in our parking lot every day. And I was out there one day, and he stayed behind the gate because he knew the dog was going to, I don't know why he keeps coming over here. You know why? I told him, I said, you know why? Because you let him. He thinks this is his toilet. I was like, man, do you know dog feces is like caviar to rats? I said, why would you do that to us? Well, everybody else come. I was like, well, tell everybody else that you see. Don't do it. Then he started going someplace else down and doing that. But you can't be afraid to talk to people, but you can't talk to them negatively. Because when I got ready to open my mouth, he was like, I know. I was like, wait, hold it. Let me explain something to you. So then I began to explain to him what that did. Because the other thing is people don't know. And you have to come to them calmly. Because they're expecting you to come negatively. So we must always be in love. And then sometimes you'll be in love, they still won't take it, but the majority of times they will. They throw bottles in our garden, and sometimes I'm so crushed. It's like, why would you throw a whiskey bottle in the garden?
And
why
it's so
would you
beautiful.
throw garbage in our garden boxes? Why would you do that? And then, I understand. You think you're doing something great by destroying something that we're trying to make beautiful. But that's okay, because you know what? This just makes me grow more, because I'm going to go and pick it up, and I'm going to send you love, whoever you are.
And that goes back to the mental state. Like, how hurt and angry do you have to be to see a beautiful garden with tall, beautiful sunflowers and colorful boxes and art, and it's vibrant because y'all do events all the time, okay? Y'all have single-handedly almost shifted the energy of this block with that garden and how beautiful it is in the community and bringing people out. To know that this is a space where all of these lovely things happen, and you see the beauty of this space, the food is growing, the flowers are growing, and says, I'm going to throw this bottle. Mentally, that person is not okay. And I feel like that's what we have a lot of. And the answer to that, and again, we ain't probably going to be able to save everybody. That's the reality of it. But when we give that love and we send that love, it's frequencies.
And
It's energy.
Yes.
I just sent an email because I'm on a high-risk South Shore call, virtual every week. And I said, there's a lot, it's a city lot at 70th and Paxton, and I'm requesting a mobile healthcare unit. And what I said was, you're wasting a lot of money right through here. It's a drop in a bucket to put a mobile health care unit in that lot because there's so many of them up and down the alley and around here. And where are they going to go? I had a policeman tell me, well, we can't pick them up unless they ask us. They're not going to ask you, or unless they're hurting themselves or hurting someone else. They're not going to do that either. But if it's a mobile unit right there where they can get assistance, I think that would be more appropriate, because you don't have a problem putting one of those ministry buses on Jeffrey and hand them a clean needle maybe and a Bible and some food. So where they going to get the drugs from? Now they full, they had a meal, they're going to go out and hit somebody in the head. But we need mobile health care units in different communities. See, you can't keep doing the same thing if things are changing. You have to change how you address it. But if you're not really trying to fix it,
That part
Correct.
comes back
Because
to
they've
that.
been religious with keeping us in this loop. That's religiosity versus spirituality. When you're addressing the spirit of an individual, you are most likely working towards something that you don't even know what the next step is. And you're working out of a space that has totally nothing to do with the powers that be. You have superseded what that is. And so when I see that being the narrative change, there's nothing they can do about it. They can keep trying to push that whole narrative of the needle and loud, loud, loud. If I hear another brother,
Yeah.
push that whole, if we haven't got it, that we have been chemicalized all this time, we have been pesticidized, we have been, our food is not the same. Food is not the same as it was 50 years ago, you all.
It is not.
Anybody can tell you.
Yeah.
so then you add that to the fact that as melanated people, it affects us more because
Absolutely.
the melanin is part of your immune system and it begins to recycle that. And I told people 10 years ago, it is too many dialysis centers in our community.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
But
Yes.
when you look at the fact that when people are medicated and these things are recycling in their body, and then let's look at the food. So here this baby comes into the world. Our women don't like to breastfeed anymore.
Correct.
If they didn't eat right, now the baby comes out, and so it's 2 years old eating Flaming Hots. I mean, we're not getting food.
Enough
We're not
food,
getting
juices.
nutrition. We become chemicalized beings, and therefore our brains are not functioning properly.
Correct.
And so trash means nothing to us. Living a holistic life means nothing. But you have people on this planet, they are eating a certain way and thinking a certain way even before they conceive, because they're planning on bringing a super being into the planet.
Yes.
So what you bringing? Somebody that's twerking and rapping at 6 years old about money?
lot
Understand
of
what
stuff.
you're doing.
Yes.
I didn't want to go into that, but understand what you're doing. You're contaminating your own seed. And so we contaminate our neighborhoods with trash. We contaminate ourselves with wrong thoughts. We contaminate ourselves with, and understand something, our people a lot of times when they're grown, they still have the brains of teenagers.
This
Absolutely.
is true.
They're not, their brains
Sometimes
aren't
not even
developed.
teenagers.
Their brains aren't developed because the
True.
nutrition wasn't there in the first place. So they can't make logical decisions. There are so many things. So what can we do? We just have to take a few people at a time, and see how many that we can help transform and want something better, and just hope that they can duplicate themselves.
Yeah, well, my solution has always been going back to the spirit. Definitely putting out that plea for this supernatural money that's coming forth to, yes, receive that, because we are owed, and not just by this society, by the universe.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not waiting for reparation. The universe
Nor
brings
I.
me mine.
No,
If reparation come, and that's the other thing, we have to teach people how to create their realities.
Correct.
Because right now they don't know how to do that, and they don't understand that every day that they wake up and they speak certain negativities, they are embedding them in their cellular memory. Who's gonna tell them? Because the people who have that information, they charge thousands of dollars for that.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to start having those type of conversations, and we have to create spaces where they will feel comfortable coming. It took 8 years to get some people on our corner to come into the garden. But you know what it had to take? Trust.
Absolutely.
We had to get trust.
And the
Because they're
spaces
used to
must
their
be-
own people being very distrustful.
Yeah.
Correct. And the spaces must be brave as well. We
Good word.
must be brave enough to do what it is we know we need to do.
Very good.
Such as what is energy? I speak Reiki. We are Reiki. We are Reiki people. Meaning it's not a thing that we do. We are.
We
it.
are.
And so, like you said, we're walking this, and we're putting our hands in the grounds and on the various things that belong to us. Period. We are nature beings, and with that, you can do nothing. Period. I mean, you can't do anything against that if you have rooted yourself in that, and that's what I continue to have to call on when I see the various things coming from us now. I'm not even speaking about anybody else.
Okay.
I'm speaking about melanated people who know that their very being in existence, from their hair to their skin to every cell within their whole being, is calling forth their natural selves. So what Miss June would have people to do is put your hands in the dirt and get grounded. Ground yourself in yourself so that you can see yourselves. That's the selves, beloved sister. You can see yourselves rise up from those dirty hands, and you will be like, oh my God, I feel so much better.
And that was
Why is this? I had a headache when I came over here. I wasn't drinking enough water. Because here's our whole connection waiting for us to come back to it.
Yeah, I mean, the soil has a natural antidepressant.
Yes, it
So if you
does.
remove that from everything, like right now we're not fighting, but we're holding a picture of creating a nature play in this city lot on 70th and Paxton, because the children they're not around enough nature. You know, I say, they're consumed by concrete and technology.
Yes.
And so we need to create more spaces for them. Let them figure out how to play. See, nature plays, they allow your creativity to come forth.
Yes.
Whereas in a playground, it's aluminum, rubber, what have you.
Exactly.
Nature play makes you come together more collectively to figure out how you're going to play and how you're going to make these different things in this nature play work for you. So it's a good idea. So I know June and I, we travel around a lot, and when I went over in the Latino community, I was like, oh my goodness, there's no trash. Their gas pumps are clean. See, one thing about people that came here from other countries, gratitude and appreciation for what they have.
Yes.
Their schools are immaculate. Their schools got everything. You know why? Because they go into a contract with CPS as the Latino caucus, and they demand certain things. Nothing's being demanded on that other end because they don't think they're worthy. And I constantly say on this block, the children at O'Keefe School deserve better. And that needs to be the outcry in every neighborhood for every school. The children deserve better. See, you don't think they deserve better. If you did, you would be crying out for them more.
Absolutely.
And for yourself, if you don't
Well,
think
that's
you
it.
deserve it, you don't
But
think
the
the
ones
kids
that
deserve
do, they feel like I have my child at a private school, I have my child at a selected school, I'm okay. See, you can't do that because those children, when they get out of school, they're running around in your community.
Yes.
The fact that you didn't care anything about them, that's why you have the problem. Because they hurt. They know nobody cares, so you don't care, I don't care.
That's right.
And that is the truth. When it comes to children, they feel on another level.
And nobody wants to talk about it.
Absolutely.
But you have a bunch of children and teenage psychopaths walking around here.
Yes.
You're
They
not lying.
feel nothing because
not lying.
nobody held them, nobody gave them compassion,
Yeah.
nobody cared about them. And so they don't care about anybody.
And we look
So
at the
trash is just
carjackings
one of
and
the
stuff,
things that
too.
they throw.
Yes.
Huh?
I said, we look at the carjackings and stuff too. These are the babies. They 13, 15 years old, 12
True.
sometimes years old, and they're the ones doing all the carjackings and stuff. And and then the riots and the stuff downtown and all that. These are our children. But how did they get here? And that's always my question. We want to blame the kids. Oh, these kids, this, they, that, and the third. But how did we get here? We always have to look at the but why. Our community as a whole, how did we get here? And then once we realize how we got here, now let's fix the problems. And it's so many things that we said today that fix or addresses the problems. Look at what we put in our bodies. The things that we are eating that are literally killing us and altering our minds. And we wondering why we got ADHD and autism and all the other things. Literally is coming from the food we eat and our environment. We're throwing the trash on the ground. We don't care about our communities because half the time we don't care about ourselves. We aren't leading with love. Everybody's expecting hate and anger and everything in between except love to be given to them. So I love what you said, just being that beacon of love, shifting the community, not the room, the whole community when you hit the scene. Because it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And we have to embody that. And so we have to take a look at the food that we're eating. We have to take a look at how we're educating ourselves and our babies, how we're advocating for ourselves and our babies in our community. And we have to take the time to heal. If you can, we have to slow down long enough to realize what the problem is. If we're always moving, we're not feeling. If we're always doing, we're not feeling. So we got the traumas, but we don't know what the traumas are or where they at because we so busy doing and listening to everything else.
Yes.
And then more traumas come and we still pushing. We have to take the time to feel. We got to die. Some things have to die for other things to live. It's like cleaning out your closet. You got to give away or throw away to make some room for some new stuff. And we have to do that in our lives. We got to remove the things that are not working. And in our communities and in our families and in our households, we have to remove the things that are not working. And then all of that work that we do inward, because we got to start with ourselves, will resonate outward. Because we will care about that trash on the ground. We will care about our kids not being truly educated or loved properly. We will start teaching them the importance of our environment or in our community and taking care of it. So yes, ladies, I just want to say thank y'all because we had a time. We had a time today, ladies.
Wonderful.
Thank y'all so much. We're going to start rounding out. But before we do, please, if you have any closing remarks, for anyone that may be listening and they're like, you know what, a lot of that sounded like me, I need to do better. Or if they thought the exact opposite, what would you want to say to anyone listening to encourage them to take their mental health seriously and how they can be that beacon of light and love in their community to pour outward?
Well, my mantra has been for several years now, care, concern, action, no excuses.
It's that no excuses part. Care, concern, action. No excuses. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to put that on a t-shirt. Look, GodTess will tell you, I'll make a design real quick and send it to you. Like, all right.
Quick.
Do that. Real quick. We got a shirt.
Now for me, it's about us getting clear. And then moving from that clarity to this place of, now that I'm clear, what am I going to do with that clarity? How can I take that and produce what I need to produce out of it? because a lot of people get clear or think that they get clear for themselves and for their families, and they don't do anything else with that. They just, exist. And so knowing that this great awakening is happening right now, I'm such a in such a place of joy about what's happening. I don't see it as bad at all. I see it as a definite necessity, because if we didn't get down to nothing, how would we know that the universe is up to something?
That's good.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just like, let it all roll. Let it all roll. We winning no matter what. We won because we won. We're
Already.
one with the one. And so we WON as well. We won already because we won with the one. And so for us to be one with the one and know this, we're beyond a place of knowing this. Like, I can see it all in our hair and our skin and our, Funny thing about the last couple of days, we had a holiday, right? And people are just walking around smiling during this time of the year. Now, I'm not going to say there's not a lot of people out there claiming depression as well. Here's what I know, though. We have moved beyond what the turkey can provide and what the, this holiday and that holiday. We know that this is a point of existence for us now. Nobody's coming to save us. Jesus has done his work already. It's a finished work. So nobody's coming to save us. We're saving ourselves now by going back to the one thing we've always had, the breath. That's us making love every day, all day long, as we're taking in, the one thing that makes us this spiritual being, having this human experience. So for me, I'm very joyful about where we are right now. It may look bleak at times, but no, this is for us to know that the other side is also bright. And we're seeing peaks of that now throughout the solar system, throughout the stars, throughout the trees. We're seeing peaks of it throughout the spirits that are sitting nearby us. So for me, I'm grateful. I'm definitely grateful in this place of just this great awakening.
Shame. For me, I feel like, yes, trash is a huge issue. And I think about my young people. I used to work with my teenagers. And one of the things that I used to tell them, and from the interview, this was like the first time I'm meeting them, and I would ask them, all right, what's the huge problem, that's in our community? And it was always like, well, they can give me problems off the bat. We got violence, we got this, we got this, we got this. And they were good with the problems. I said, okay, now what's the solution? And then all the faces went,
Sure.
It's too big. Like, that was always the answer. The problems are too big. They're too big. I said, okay, but think about it this way. You have the problem. You got that quick. It's big. Now go all the way back to the smallest level you can think of and build up to that problem. And those are your solutions, right? It's from the smallest level. And that's what we did and we talked about today. We talked about from the smallest level and working on eradicating this big problem. And what makes me happy, I'm real happy. What makes me happy is that we're already doing it.
Yes.
We're already doing it. The solutions already are in motion. They already exist through Talking Trash, through South Miro Garden and all the other work that you do, through the Reiki and the healing work, pouring that in the community for free, being the love, the Healing Academy, creating these schools so that we can truly love, heal, and educate our babies, not only the babies, but the families and the teachers as well, and the staff as well, and the community around it as well. We're already doing the work. And y'all might have heard us mention Miss June quite a few times in this conversation. Miss June, okay, she won't but she won't announce this herself, but she's our fearless leader. She is. Founder of Talking Trash.
Okay.
So that is who Miss June is. We will reference her quite a few times during this podcast series. Get to know her. Please follow our social media pages, y'all. Talking Trash Chicago, Facebook, Instagram, and definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can get more of this. This. Thank you so much again, ladies, for being with us.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much, y'all out there, for watching. We truly, truly appreciate it. And for next time, join us as we continue Talking Trash's podcast, the Peace Talks, because we ain't done. We just getting started.
Yes.
I have been your host, Natalie Battles, with our lovely guests, GodTess Torziata and Dianne Hodges.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We got to come together, we got to become better, we got to find the difference like the change in the weather. We can't be flowing, dancing in the wind like we some feathers. I'm trying to build a couple homes so we can have some shelter, or maybe feed a couple people so they stomach better. I'm trying to build a nation that go through generations. You gotta have the patience, I wouldn't call it waiting, but honestly all my prodigies gon' be contemplating on ways to break through the curses that had our mamas aching and all our daddies bleeding. I'm trying to find a reason, but I ain't here for weeping, cause our community needs some unity and some peace. I'm trying to go ahead and slay through all our enemies. They trying to go ahead and shake up all our energy. I protect my enemies so my people enter me, learning from our pain and connecting all our synergy.
Take your power back. We can't wait on nobody else to save us. We can and will save us. We got everything we need. Our community, our responsibility.